Maya stood frozen as Daniel's voice cut through the meeting room. One moment she was quietly handing him a file, and the next, he was shouting at her in front of everyone. "Stop acting above your level, Maya. You're embarrassing me," he snapped. Before she could even understand what was happening, Daniel grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the door. Chairs scraped. People looked away. No one dared to speak. Her heart pounded as she tried to ask what she did wrong, but Daniel wouldn't listen. Security arrived. Daniel pointed at her like she was a stranger. "Please escort her out. She doesn't belong here," he said sharply. Maya felt heat rising in her face, humiliation, confusion, and a sharp sting of betrayal. She had always supported him, helped him through his struggles, and believed in him. But now he was treating her like she was nothing. As the guards walked her through the hallway, she lifted her eyes for just a moment. Mr. Alden, the CEO, stood there quietly, watching everything with an unreadable expression. His gaze wasn't cold. It was thoughtful, almost concerned. Something wasn't right. Daniel's outburst didn't feel normal. It was too sudden, too cruel, too desperate. Maya replayed the scene in her mind, searching for a reason, but nothing explained why he exploded like that. Why did he snap? What was he so afraid of? And why did Mr. Alden look as if he already knew this moment was coming? Those questions followed her as the office doors closed behind her, and the real story began. Maya is 29 years old, intelligent, hardworking, and loyal. She has always given her best in everything she does, but recently, she has been recovering from burnout. Long hours, constant stress, and trying to keep everyone happy had drained her. Yet she kept pushing herself because she believed things would get better. When Maya first met Daniel, he was gentle and supportive. He listened to her, encouraged her, and made her feel valued. Their relationship started in a warm, healthy way. But slowly things changed. Daniel began to control small parts of her life, her schedule, her clothes, even the people she talked to. At first, Maya didn't notice it. She thought he was just stressed or worried. But over time, his words became sharper, and his demands grew heavier. Still, Maya stayed loyal. She helped him rise in the company when he struggled. Daniel often felt lost, unsure, and overwhelmed. He would call Maya in the middle of the night asking for help with presentations. She would sit beside him, guiding him, rewriting his statements, and calming him down. She believed in him more than he believed in himself. Daniel also carried the weight of his family's expectations. His parents wanted him to be successful, powerful, and admired. They often compared him to others, making him feel small and inadequate. Maya understood this and tried her best to support him. But the more pressure he felt, the more he pushed his insecurities onto her. Now Maya is tired. She is hopeful that things can improve, but deep inside, she knows she is slowly losing herself. She feels like she's walking on eggshells, careful not to upset Daniel. She misses the girl she used to be, confident, joyful, independent. In her life, there are still people who see the real her. Mr. Alden, the CEO, is quiet but observant. He notices things others overlook. He respects Maya's intelligence and her calm strength. He has watched her work with dedication, even when she wasn't appreciated. Then there is Lisa, Maya's best friend. Lisa has warned her many times about Daniel's behavior. She sees the controlling patterns clearly and tries to tell Maya, "You deserve better than this." But Maya keeps giving Daniel another chance, hoping he will change. Deep down, Maya wants stability, peace, and a life where she can breathe again. But Daniel is spiraling, becoming more insecure, more fearful, and more unpredictable. And Maya doesn't realize yet that everything around her is about to shift in a way she never expected. After the humiliation, Maya went home feeling confused and hurt. She kept replaying the moment Daniel dragged her out of the meeting. She wanted answers, but instead, she found something even worse. A co-worker she trusted called her quietly that evening and told her the truth. Daniel had been taking her work ideas and presenting them as his own for months. Maya felt her chest tighten. All the late nights she spent helping him, all the projects she worked on, all the advice she gave, he used it to make himself look smarter and more capable. And now he had thrown her out like she meant nothing. The betrayal cut deeper than she expected. The next morning, she received an unexpected message. It was from Mr. Alden, the CEO. He asked her to meet him privately at a cafe away from the office. His tone was calm but serious. Maya felt nervous. But she went. When she arrived, Mr. Alden greeted her gently and asked if she was okay. For a moment, Maya almost broke down, but she held herself together. Then he got straight to the point. He told her the board had been watching Daniel closely for months. His behavior, his decisions, and his sudden rise in the company didn't make sense. Something felt wrong. Maya listened carefully as Mr. Alden opened a folder and slid it toward her. Inside were documents, emails, reports, financial logs. Daniel had not only stolen her ideas, he had also manipulated company numbers and taken credit for other people's work. There were mistakes, lies, and signs of hidden spending. Maya's hands shook as she flipped through the pages. She had always known Daniel was insecure, but she never imagined he would go this far. "I'm telling you this," Mr. Alden said quietly, "because the board is preparing to remove him. They need someone with honesty, someone who understands the company and cares about real work, someone with integrity." He looked directly at her. "Someone like you." Maya stared at him, speechless. She wasn't sure she heard him correctly. She had just been humiliated and kicked out. Her heart was still bruised, and now he was telling her the board wanted her? She didn't know what this opportunity meant. She didn't know what would happen to her or to Daniel. Everything felt overwhelming, and her world had turned upside down in just one day. But one thing was clear. The truth was finally coming out, and the stakes were higher than ever. Maya's next choices would change everything. Daniel tried calling Maya over and over again. Her phone buzzed nonstop. Messages, missed calls, voicemails. But Maya didn't pick up. She couldn't. Every time she saw his name on the screen, her stomach twisted. She felt angry, hurt, and confused all at once. She didn't want to hear more excuses or lies. As she sat alone in her small living room, memories kept rushing back. She remembered the times Daniel got jealous when she talked to other coworkers. How he would get upset if she succeeded at something he struggled with. How he would say, "You're lucky I help you," even when she was the one helping him. At the time, she thought he was stressed or insecure. Now she realized it was emotional manipulation. She remembered nights when she stayed up rewriting his reports, while he snapped at her for not understanding the pressure he was under. She remembered how he always made her feel guilty if she wanted time for herself. All those warning signs she ignored suddenly felt sharp and clear. In the middle of all this, Mr. Alden contacted her again. He asked if she could help review some important company documents. The board was moving quickly now, and they needed someone they trusted to go through the files. Maya hesitated, but she agreed. It felt strange to be involved, but she knew this was bigger than her and Daniel. When she opened the documents, her heart dropped. She found records showing how Daniel sabotaged coworkers to rise faster. He had reported small mistakes as major risks, blamed others for problems he caused, and pushed people out of the way to look more competent. The truth hit her hard. The man she supported, defended, and loved had been harming others behind the scenes. With each page she read, Maya felt a mix of sadness and disappointment. She realized she didn't really know Daniel anymore. Maybe she never truly did. Meanwhile, tension grew inside the company. Rumors were spreading. People sensed something big was coming. Meetings became secretive. Doors closed quickly. Whispers filled the hallways. Daniel felt the shift too. He could feel eyes on him. He noticed people avoiding long conversations. He sensed that something was slipping out of his control. His messages to Maya became more desperate. "Please talk to me. We need to fix this. You don't understand what's happening." But Maya kept her silence. She needed time to think. For the first time in years, she put herself first. The board prepared for a dramatic announcement. Mr. Alden hinted that things would change very soon. Maya could feel the pressure building, the air tightening around everyone involved. She knew the truth now, and she knew the damage Daniel had caused, but she also struggled with her own emotions. A part of her wanted revenge. She wanted him to feel the same humiliation and pain he gave her. She wanted the world to see what he had done. Yet another part of her wanted to stay calm and strong. She didn't want to become like him. Angry, insecure, desperate. She wanted to do the right thing, even if her heart was bruised. Maya stood between two paths, revenge or integrity. And soon, she would have to choose. A company-wide meeting was called early in the morning. Everyone rushed into the large conference hall, whispering and wondering what was happening. The air felt heavy with tension. Something big was about to be announced. Daniel walked in with a proud smile, his shoulders straight and his chin lifted. He believed this meeting was for him. He thought he was about to receive a promotion, maybe even a major leadership position. He looked around the room with arrogance, as if he already owned the place. A few people exchanged awkward glances but said nothing. Maya stood at the side of the room, calm and quiet. She had been asked to attend by Mr. Alden, but she kept her distance from Daniel. He didn't notice her at first. His attention was on the stage where the CEO and board members were preparing their notes. Finally, Mr. Alden stepped forward. "Thank you all for being here," he said. His voice was steady, but everyone could sense the seriousness behind it. "Today we announce a major change in the company's future." Daniel's smile grew wider. He adjusted his tie and stood a little taller. Mr. Alden continued. "After months of evaluation, the board has decided to sell the majority ownership of the company to a private investor." A loud wave of confusion spread across the room. People looked at each other in shock. Daniel's smile froze. This wasn't the announcement he expected. Mr. Alden took a breath and said, "The new majority owner is someone who has shown honesty, intelligence, and true commitment to real work." Then he looked toward Maya. "The new investor is Maya." The entire room went silent. All eyes turned toward her. Daniel's face drained of color. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. He looked like the floor had dropped beneath him. Maya stepped forward, her step steady. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't angry. She was simply composed. Daniel finally found his voice. "Maya? This must be some mistake," he stammered. "She's not, she can't." Maya looked at him calmly. "I can, Daniel," she said softly. "And I did." The staff watched closely. No one moved. Maya continued. "You used my ideas as your own. You manipulated numbers. You sabotaged people who trusted you. And you humiliated me in front of everyone when you felt threatened." Daniel shook his head wildly. "No, that's not true." Mr. Alden interrupted. "We have all the evidence, Daniel." Daniel's body slumped. He looked around desperately, hoping someone would defend him, but no one did. People he once stepped on were now staring at him with relief, even satisfaction. The truth was finally out. Security stepped forward. The same security team that once escorted Maya out. Now they stood beside Daniel. "No, please don't do this," he whispered, voice breaking. But it was too late. He was escorted out of the room slowly, painfully. The humiliation he once used against Maya had now returned to him. Louder, heavier, and witnessed by the whole company. Maya stood still, watching with calm eyes. Not out of revenge, but out of closure. For the first time in a long while she felt free. Maya took over the company's operations with a calm and steady hand. She didn't rush to make big changes. She started with simple but important steps. She made sure everyone's work was recognized fairly. She opened clear communication channels so no one felt ignored or scared to speak. She set honest rules and treated everyone with respect. Slowly, the atmosphere in the office began to feel lighter. People started smiling more, working without fear, and trusting the leadership again. Her way of leading was different from anything the staff had seen before. She listened before she decided. She asked questions instead of giving orders. She made decisions that helped the team, not just the top management. Employees felt safe, valued, and motivated. Maya proved that leadership wasn't about power, it was about integrity. A few days later, Daniel managed to reach her. He came to the building insisting he needed to talk to her. He looked tired, shaken, and desperate. When Maya finally saw him from a distance, his eyes softened with guilt. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. "I didn't mean for things to go this far. Please, can we talk?" Maya looked at him with a steady, calm expression. "I don't hate you," she said softly. "But I can't let you pull me back into the same toxicity. I'm moving forward." She didn't shout, didn't insult him, and didn't seek revenge. She simply chose herself over the pain he caused. Then she walked away, leaving Daniel with nothing more to say. Outside of work, Maya focused on rebuilding her life. She met Lisa more often, laughing and sharing small joys. She started therapy and slowly healed the wounds she had ignored for years. She reconnected with hobbies she had abandoned, writing, reading, and taking long walks at sunset. She began to feel like herself again, stronger and brighter. One weekend, Maya visited the old apartment she once shared with Daniel. She walked through the empty rooms, touching the walls and remembering the girl she used to be, hopeful, loyal, and scared to speak up. But now she stood there as a new version of herself. She opened the windows, let the air flow through, and allowed the past to finally leave her heart. Before walking out for the last time, she whispered, "I'm free." Then she closed the door gently, knowing she no longer carried the weight of that chapter. Maya was ready for a life filled with peace, honesty, and her own strength. Maya sat quietly by her window, watching the soft evening light spread across the sky. For the first time in a long while, her mind felt calm. She thought about everything she had lost, her trust in Daniel, her sense of stability, the future she once imagined with him. But she also saw everything she had gained: strength, clarity, freedom, a new beginning. She realized she had grown in ways she never expected. She learned how strong she could be when life pushed her down. She learned how to stand up for herself without losing her kindness. She learned that her worth didn't depend on anyone else's approval. A small beep from her phone interrupted her thoughts. She picked it up and saw a message from one of the staff members at the company. "Thank you, Maya," the message said, "for giving us hope again. For leading with honesty and respect. You changed everything for the better." Maya felt her eyes warm with emotion. She smiled, not because she had won against Daniel, not because she had power now, but because she finally felt at peace. Her smile was gentle, full of relief and quiet gratitude. She leaned back in her chair and took a deep breath. Life had been painful, confusing, and unfair at times, but it had also brought her to a place where she felt whole again. She survived heartbreak. She overcame betrayal. And she rebuilt herself piece by piece. Looking out at the sky, Maya whispered softly to herself, "Some endings happen to save us, not hurt us." And with that truth in her heart, she stepped forward into her new life, ready for whatever came next. Hey besties! Thanks for sticking around until the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.